Hey folks, Scott from IT Rockstars. Hope you're doing well. In this episode, we are going to be discussing marketing tools and sales tools for your MSP. And I think I'll start this off by just saying that we're actually not going to be discussing tools. The question we had we saw actually, it was on another community that we saw this tool was, it was purely, hey, it was another IT business owner was asking the question, what marketing and sales tools are you guys using in your business? And there's lots of other IT business owners of this group, and lots of dialogue about which is the best tool to be using from a marketing perspective and from a sales perspective. What I found interesting about the conversation, about the thread that I was reading, was that no one was actually asking, what's your existing process? What does your sales and marketing process look like in your IT business? Now, the reason I found this so interesting was because as an IT business owner, one of the first things that you do when you are speaking to a potential new client is you want to find out as much information about that business, the way that they do business, and their processes. And the main reason that you want to find that information out is so that you can recommend the best tools, best technology tools for them. Obviously, there's standard things like Office 365, but all businesses have different ways of doing business. So being able to know what the processes actually are and then fitting the tools around that process to help that process, to automate that process, to make it much more efficient is really what you're looking to do. And that's what we all do on a daily basis as IT business owners. So I found it really interesting that everyone was just jumping into the tools in this conversation. They were not asking the MSP, what is your process at the moment? What does your marketing process look like? And I think the thread actually started off, what tool are you using to manage your sales leads? And the first question I had about that was, okay, well, what do you consider a sales lead? Certainly here at IT Rockstars, one of the funnels that we've built out, we manage all of our marketing activities in Active Campaign. But within there, we have a scoring mechanism. It's an automation. And depending on how that contact interacts with the content that we publish on our website and via email and things like that, they get scored. And once the contact reaches a certain score automatically, that gets tagged, that contact will get tagged. And when it does get tagged, it sends off a Zapier integration to Pipedrive. And that's where it actually becomes a sales prospect because they have shown a certain amount of interest in what it is that we do here at IT Rockstars. And that's our process. So we, when it comes into sales, when it comes into Pipedrive, that's like a sales CRM. We have a whole sequence of events that happen within that pipe in Pipedrive. So the first thing that we do is we qualify the prospect. So we look at their website to see, is the prospect actually one that's worthy of doing business with? Are they the right size? It's not just it's not just someone else that's somehow managed to enter into our sales and marketing funnel. So there's a bit of qualification that happens there. We also have a SDR that actually verifies things like their mailing address. And once they're qualified and we've got the mailing address, then we send them something awesome in the mail. Once we've got the awesome thing in the mail, we send them a personalized video. Once we've done the personalized video, there's an email sequence. It's a manual email sequence. Then there's a phone call. And if the whole purpose of this follow-up sequence is actually just to raise awareness of IT Rockstars more than anything else. But that whole process is managed within Pipedrive. And that's our process. And it's quite, you might not have this highly refined process like we do here at IT Rockstars for your marketing and for your sales. It's something that kind of matures over time like a fine wine. And you'll find that when you do this process manually a number of times, that's when you can start looking at tools, because there'll be certain tools that will fit the process really well, and there'll be certain tools that don't fit the process. So to give you an example of that, one of the reasons why we don't use ActiveCampaign for everything is because their CRM functionality doesn't have the features that we need for our process. It doesn't have certain features. I'm not going to go into the detail, okay? Because it's not about the tool, it's about the process, and it's about the features meeting the process that you're doing already manually. So what I suggested in this thread was, okay, stepping back without actually knowing your process, and if you're just immediately asking the question, what tool to use for sales, I'd be using an Excel spreadsheet initially until such time as you have refined the process and you've built the process and you're happy with the process, you've refined it over time, and it's potentially actually been fulfilled by someone else within the team. That's when you implement a tool, and you'll find that the tool will be able to do some of the heavy lifting for you. So things like moving from, okay, this prospect's qualified, to send them something in the mail, to sending them a personalized video. Certain elements of that process can be automated within the right tool. So if you are looking at sales and marketing tools, I ask you to build your process out first and do your process repeatedly before you go and buy a tool and try and fit your process around the tool. One of the things that we all get lost with when it comes to software tools, because we all love technology, or most of us love technology, I'm falling out of love with it every day I get older, is, we get distracted. So make sure your process is right before choosing a tool. And if you're going into a public internet forum, realize that many of these people that are talking about the tools don't have the process in place. If you ask the question, oh, you recommend this tool or this tool, Scott, you're recommending an ActiveCampaign or Pipedrive, one of the main things you should actually be asking is, how many leads are you actually managing in that process? For us here, we get about 3 leads a day. You might be a bigger MSP though, and you're managing 100 leads a week. And if that's the case, then that's going to affect the process and the tool that you use. So take these recommendations that you may find online on communities with a pinch of salt. That's for today, folks. If you want to find out more about how to build a sales and marketing process for your IT business, check out itrockstars.net. We've got a 1-month free trial. Take it easy.